Face.
Time keeps rolling, and I keep counting down the days. I've lived that life 1,000 times. We're still kids inside my
Scots
Here's a
with
question.
soul, build this network. Scots and soul. Build this network on Scots with Soul. Yo, folks, what's happening? And welcome back to the Scots with Soul podcast. It's week 87 this week, and I'm your host, COD8MYdog, and I'm here with my co-host and friend, SM-Viper, DMviper, the Lion's Table, whatever you're wanting to call him. His name used to be SM-Viper. How you doing, dude?
That's the first time you've ever said "and friend."
Aye, it's something I thought about adding it in. Know what I mean? I feel it's been long enough now.
It's been long enough since week 11.
So, aye, it's been over a year. You're a good friend now. So,
Yeah, considering
Hooray.
Thunder's chewing the unicorn I bought him.
tune the unicorn you've bought him, I swear to God, you got him that.
What is
unicorn as well.
left? Jesus Christ!
I know, man. It's not even the same colour anymore.
I bought you that from my old work that closed down. I hope you enjoy it. What happened to the whale? Did the dolphin we bought him?
The dolphin's in the living room. He prefers this is his favourite. It's always been his favourite.
Oh, his lipstick's out. His lipstick's out.
Aye, he's fucking. I've got it on the vertical camera so people can just see. They can't see the humping part of the dog this week. But aye, how are you doing this week and what you been up to, man?
I've been alright. Started a new job. Well, my second job now. And I completed Jedi Fallen Order. That was really fun. It's the first kind of like Dark Souls-ish game that I've completed. So I was like proud
It's
of myself.
Dark Souls-ish, really? Is it?
It is. It's quite Dark Souls-ish. It's that, like that kind of game. It's basically if you placed a Dark Souls game in the Star Wars universe and turned the difficulty down a bit. Like, I'll full on admit, like, it's not as hard as Dark Souls. But
It does look quite cool. I do like the thing that, like, the lightsaber knocking back the projectile bullets and all that when you're doing the swing. That's pretty cool.
Well, I think the coolest thing is I've watched someone else's
It's
gameplay of it.
completely
Right?
unfeasible, but it's pretty fucking cool.
Like, I watched someone else's gameplay of it, and how people use the different like powers is really interesting. Like, for example,
But
like
that's the
I was
beautiful thing about Twitch and RPG games. Do you know what I mean? If you like an RPG game, The Witcher's the same. Do you know what I mean? You click onto a Witcher stream, you're like, what build are you using? So like, this sounds as if Fallen Order's the same as that.
Like for me, like I used force powers now and then, but it was more like push them away, bring them closer, because I was more like cool, slash them all down with the lightsaber.
So it's a different like sub trees. Like you say, you use
Yes and no.
force powers.
Is in like you can upgrade your force powers, your survival powers, and your lightsaber powers. I kind of went through a mix of all three, like, get that force power, grab that survival power, grab that lightsaber power, right? But there are some people that I've seen that went pure lightsaber, and there's some people I went to see that went pure force, and there are some people that like went mostly survival with a bit of here and there, and it's really interesting because like one of them I saw, like someone uses there's a ability that's like force slow. You can like slow down things with the force. Funnily enough, that's why it's called force slow. And they used it completely different to I did. So, for example, my tactic, like with the heavy troopers, right, who had the big kind of miniguns that are like pew 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 pew. Instead of my tactic, which was I had the ability that if I sprinted, I deflected bullets automatically.
All right.
So I didn't have to worry about it. And my tactic was, okay, someone's shooting me, run right at them, get in close range with them, and then hit them. So the range doesn't matter. Their tactic was every time was force slow them, so the bullets came at them slower, and they deflected every single bullet. Because the problem with me is that I couldn't parry enough I couldn't like go the pew, 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 pew,
You
pew.
can deflect bullets, but not all of them. But with force
Where
slow,
they
you can get
use
them all.
force slows, they go pew 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 pew, and I'm like, that's why. Like I'm sitting there going, why did I not think of that? But like
And
the game
reason
was,
is because you're having fun with certain perks, and you want more of that perk you're having fun with. Do you know what I mean? It's like that guy was
And I
just,
like-
whoever you were watching was just having fun with those perks. He might have thought it
Yeah.
up, but 9 times out of 10, people stumble into these things. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, but it was super fun, and the fact that it's canon, like this. Oh yeah, this is like this happens in the. It's just I think it's because the it gave me a completely different perspective on the Star Wars universe timeline, because like I don't like I know you haven't really you're not a big Star Wars fan, but do you know what Order 66 was?
No.
Right. So Order 66 in the Star Wars universe was when Emperor Palpatine, basically all the clones in the Jedi army, basically.
They're the wee white
Yeah,
dudes, aren't they? The
Yeah,
white armoured dudes.
yeah. When they were part of the Republic, they were known as the Clone Army, and when they became part of the Empire, they were known as Stormtroopers. When it was when they were cloned, basically, they were cloned. Like who Boba Fett is, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You've heard the name Boba Fett. His father, Jango Fett, he was the base plate for all the clones. So, but when the clones were made, they'd had a chip actually embedded in the back of their head. This was because they were actually the Republic didn't know this, but they were actually sleeper agents basically. And when they, I'm guessing it's when they heard the words uttered, "Execute Order 66."
Fuck off.
The order, it then switched their brain from being loyal to the Jedi to despising them and needing to eradicate them. So basically, it was a case of in Revenge of the Sith, Emperor Palpatine goes execute Order 66, and the clones turn on the Jedi, and basically the genocide of the Jedi happens. Order 66 is such a crucial part for the Jedi because a lot of them had to go into hiding, and that's where this game picks up. Is this isn't a spoiler considering you're wielding a lightsaber in the game. You play as a character called Cal Kestis. You are hiding out on a scrap planet, and basically this event happens that you get discovered and you go on the run.
So that's why you're playing this unknown sort of Jedi then?
Yeah, Cal Kestis, yeah. One of the coolest things though is that the game has so many ties into other Star Wars lore, such as by the way, I highly recommend going watching the kids TV show Star Wars Rebels, because it gives so much actually subplot to the actual lore of Star Wars. It's unreal. It introduces the Inquisitors. It sets up basically like the start of the rebels. It's mental. It's so good.
Right, but see, I've got this huge problem with Star Wars, right? And it's called Warhammer 40k.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Get into Star Wars, trust, get into Star Wars, but Warhammer 40k is well better. Do you know what I mean? It's like Star Wars does sound good, but I don't want to waste my time. No, waste my time, but that's how I see it. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to spend time looking into Star Wars lore when there's so much about Warhammer I don't know, and I'm pure into the Warhammer stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why
Well,
I
you got to
love playing
admit though,
Civ
right?
so much recently, man. I like playing Civ off stream now because I'm like, cool. What Primarch's fucking whole lore am I listening to tonight? Lionel Johnson, 3-hour video, give it. Do you know what I mean?
You got to admit though,
Play
right?
Civ.
Like, look at these dudes, the Stormtroopers, right?
Yeah, you get the shitty Stormtrooper dudes, aye.
And then these dudes. Sorry, this is like a random picture I found, right?
You put it in the chat again, aye.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, those links are big.
Yeah, they are.
Aye, but do you know what I mean? It's like
They look pretty similar.
There's a clear winner, but the Space Marines look so much better.
It's because the Space Marines can hit things.
I mean, and then you've got dreadnoughts at the back. Do you know what I mean? And and you get the Primarchs, and then you've got the
Well, like,
Primaris
in
Marines.
Star Wars lore, they have the ATSTs, the AT-ATs,
Oh man, I just prefer Warhammer so much. I mean, you've got Darth Vader, right? Who's a bit shit. And then you've got, like, the Emperor, and fucking...
Here's the interesting thing, right? Like, okay, I'm going to speak about spoilers for the game, so I'm going to put my hand on that when I'm speaking about spoilers in case anybody doesn't want to know any spoilers for the game. Okay. So, I'm guessing you don't care about spoilers.
I don't care about spoilers. I'll never watch Star Wars. I'm not going to do it.
Right. So...
First one I ever seen was when we Jar Jar Binks, and it completely ruined it for me. There you go, explain.
Understandable. In Jedi Fallen Order, your final boss is the second sister Inquisitor called Trilla, right? She's a good fight. She's not the hardest fight in the game, but she's a good fight. And after you basically defeat her, it looks like she's about to come back to the light side. You know, she sees the error of her ways.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear Darth Vader's breathing. And Darth Vader comes up behind her. And, the thing is, Trilla knows what's about that. She knows she's about to get struck down.
Wait a minute. This might be a joke that only some people will get, but do you think Darth Vader's cloak is the wanket blanket, and that's why he's heavy breathing all the time?
But like when it came to like when Vader appears, Trilla knows exactly what's about to fucking happen. She knows she's about to get struck down and murdered, right? She looks up, says "Avenge us," and Darth Vader just literally like decapitates her from her neck to her shoulder, like just and I was like, okay, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to fight Vader. Now in the game, it gives you everything you face. It gives you a little box of like, you know, here are the little tactics you can use to defeat this person. It gives you the option to look at Vader's. I looked at Vader's like, right, how am I going to beat Vader? What's he? And it went, the only chance of survival is escape. In other words, run. And oh my god, it is one of the best depictions of Vader I've ever seen. He rips a base apart so easy. Literally, just as you're running away. It's not like he's, throwing things at you. No. The walkway you're on, he's just ripping it out of your feet. And I'm just like, Vader.
See, this is the Darth Vader I would like to see if I was going to get into Star Wars, right?
Lord Vader.
Put a lead on her, sir, just before she gets bitten. And you don't want to get bitten now, do you, sweetheart?
Fucking Snatch Wars, man. If you've not seen Snatch Wars, you need to go watch Snatch Wars on YouTube. It is fucking hilarious.
Hold on, wait.
It's Bricktop for fucking Lock Talking to Smoking Barrels or whatever. Put over Darth Vader's.
However,
it's fucking fantastic.
You got to full on admit, this scene. This is from Star Wars Rogue One.
I've never seen Star Wars Rogue One.
It just shows how brutal Darth Vader can be.
Right, well, we're not going to sit and watch bits of movies, right?
We totally should, though.
No, we totally should.
Should we just do a sub podcast where me and Trust just talk about movies?
No, because you'll be talking about movies I don't like Star Wars.
Well, we'll talk about movies and
Thunder.
Lore.
Fuck off now. No, because I want to talk about lore you don't like. Man, I've wanted to do a Destiny lore podcast for ages, man, but nobody's
Do you and Reggie?
Me and who?
Reggie.
Reggie doesn't he play Destiny?
I thought he did.
No, he doesn't. He's maybe played it once or twice, but he's not into the lore anyway, put it that way.
Oh no, sorry, it's fucking Pigeon that plays
It's
it.
Pigeon that
He's you
plays
and
it.
Pigeon.
He probably didn't mean Pigeon.
Where is Pigeon? I've seen a Pigeon ages.
Pigeon moved house and he moved into a place that doesn't have fibre optic internet. That's why he stopped streaming on it, because he can't stream.
Oh, that sucks.
So he's like he's been getting on at BT and all that, all the different internet providers. Like, I'll pay you double.
I
Why
need to
am
double
I
check
here?
this, right? But this is actually news. I think BT went under a cyber attack
When?
like recently, like the past couple of days. Because me and Yaldi were speaking about it. Because Yaldi's internet has been awful. And he said he got like an alert or something. Nope, that's from 2017.
There's one January 7th, 2020. Hackers are holding a foreign exchange company, Travelex, to ransom after a cyber attack forced the firm to turn off all computer systems and resort to pen and paper.
Oh yeah, that was the travel thing we were talking about, wasn't it?
I don't think we covered that. I didn't know about this. Holy shit.
But there was
BBC
but apparently well, Yadi was saying that there's a let me double
travel
check,
boss
please.
breaks silence after cyber attack.
Hold on. 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
A number of
Where
short
is it?
statements since cyber criminals held the firm to ransom on 31st of December. But in a video message on the firm's website, boss Tony D'Souza said the IT system used by in-store staff was working again. However, other systems remain offline. So what did they actually get at? That means customers are still unable to order currency online, either from Travelex itself or through the network of banks that it uses services, including Barclays, Lloyds, RSB, and the finance websites of Sainsbury's and Tesco. Travelex had said little publicly since the hackers held its systems to ransom by encrypting its digital files, reportedly demanding $6 million to unlock the data off. But Mr. D'Souza said it was not appropriate to discuss details on the attack, adding that the investigation was ongoing. To date, there is no evidence that any data has left the organisation. He said, of course they're going to say that, but the hackers, a gang called...
They're not going to go, they have everything.
They
know
have
where you
everything.
live.
They know where you live. They know your mod's date of birth and all that. They're not going to tell you that. A gang called Soden Nokubi have told the BBC they gained access to the company's computer network 6 months ago and claimed to have downloaded 5 gigabytes of sensitive customer data. Dates of
Only
birth,
5 gigs?
credit card information, and national insurance numbers are all in their possession, they says. But
Only 5 gig though?
But you don't need to steal a lot of information. You need to steal that crucial information that people are willing to pay money for, and that's what they've done, man. Have you never watched a movie with ransoms in it? No. They don't steal everything. They steal one thing and then they get you to give you everything. They get you to give them everything.
The only ransom ones I've ever seen are the taking of Pelham 123, which was the one that John Travolta was in with the train in New York with, I think it was Denzel Washington.
Oh, I've not seen that one.
And what was it, I think?
But aye, apparently they stole 5 gigabytes of sensitive information. D'Souza said that the disruption has been uncomfortable for Travelex's partners and they apologise to customers for inconvenience.
Of course it could be uncomfortable for the partners, they're losing money.
Ah, man. Well, there you go. Travelex got hacked. It wasn't the BBC. It was just the BBC that reported it.
Could you imagine if the BBC got hacked though? I want to see all those emails about the news censoring stuff.
Somebody hacked the BBC and just put everybody's TV licenses paid, so as we all stop getting that daft wee letter, please. Do you know what I mean, man? Like, I got the letter through the other day, like, we will be sending a representative round to check if you're downloading and all that illegally. The guy will be sitting at the door, getting dinged, man. Do you think anybody ever answers their door to a TV license, man? Do you know what I mean? Answer my buzzer. Who's that? It's a TV license. Oh, you've rang the wrong buzzer. Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck off, man. Who watches BBC iPlayer? That's the only reason they would be able to fucking... Even if you did watch BBC iPlayer, fuck the BBC and their licensing thing.
Unless you start being unbiased, then I'm not going to be paying it.
Exactly. Exactly.
And like they try to say, oh, you need a TV license to do anything on the internet. No,
BBC, you do not own the internet. calm yourself right fucking down, right fucking now. But aye, let's
Like you need a TV light to receive any form of signal. I'm like, I am receiving signals, just not your signals.
Just not yours. Yeah, fucking cunt bags. But aye, something I was mega disappointed to see this week was Dying Light 2 is being delayed.
Helps you put the exclamation mark.
It does help, yes, you're right. Dying Light 2 with an exclamation mark. There you go. Success. I'm good at this. Only been doing it for 87 weeks. But aye, they released this on their Twitter. To our dedicated community, it was a busy year for us as we continued working on our biggest project to date. We know you are awaiting the game eagerly, and we want to deliver exactly what we promised. It's pretty much the exact same as Cyberpunk's last week. We are initially aiming for spring 2020 release with Dying Light 2, but unfortunately we need more time in development to fulfill our vision. We will have more details to share in the coming months, and we'll get back to you as soon as we have the more information. We apologise for this unwelcome news. Our priority is to deliver an experience that lives up to our own high standards as the expectations of you, the fans. Please stay tuned, and thank you to our fans around the world for continued support, patience and understanding. It's like,
see, it's exactly what we were saying. Like I said this last week, I think this is just a case of all the big games that have been announced before the whole CG Projekt Red thing came out, and they realised, people are completely okay with us delaying our games. Like they'd already set the dates before they found this out. So now they're realising, well, we can delay them if we need to now. So all the big games are going, you know what? Yeah, we're going to delay.
But
like the thing is,
the worrying thing for me is that when they're delaying them, they're not coming with a new date. Do you know what I mean? So
I'm fine with that though. It's not like they're going to be like, oh yeah, you're never going to get it.
Yeah, from a consumer point of view, but I'm more thinking it's leading into this whole developer thing. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole crunch shit that's going on right now. Do you know what I mean? Like I really feel with it, like you're saying, CD Projekt Red delayed Cyberpunk, right? They didn't release a date, and then these companies are not releasing a date either. Like Techland for Dying Light, Marvel for the Avengers. Do you know what I mean? They've all been delayed, but they've not got a date on them now. Does that mean that that they're getting? I mean, this is best case scenario. This is what I hope is happening, right? But I don't think it's the case. What I hope is happening, why they're not coming with a date, is because they're giving their dev team enough time. They're saying, take your time, don't overwork yourself, just make the game and tell us when it's going to be ready.
At the same time, they do need to kind of enforce, deadlines. Like try and get it done within the next 3 weeks.
Aye,
it's okay if you can't. Just this is what our goal is.
Mm-hmm. Aye, like set goals. Deadlines are a more harsher word, though, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Philly boy, that's hilarious. Imagine Nintendo doing the same. It'll be ready when we fucking say it is.
The thing is, right? I'd be like.
He's got a point as well. Do you know what I mean? Like the companies should be like that. They should come out and say that. Like, I don't care if you're gonna moan about the game not being ready yet. We're overworking our guys, so we're giving them a lighter workload. It'll be ready when it's fucking ready. Do you know
what they should do?
You'll still buy it. Don't tell me you're not going to buy it. You know what I mean? Shut up and just wait.
You know what they should do? They should do the whole thing that movies do, of release a trailer 8 weeks before the film comes out, say this is when it's coming out, release more trailers when it gets closer and closer. Release a trailer 7 days to go, release a trailer 6 days to go. Because the hype will build itself. Even if you want to build more hype, you could.
But see, the thing is, if you do that many trailers, you've already showed people a quarter of the movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's because movies like that. But in the fact that games are that big these days, like they could always go they could always just saying sometime during the developmental stage, some concept art could be leaked. It's, see if they just went, cool, this game is 6 weeks away from being published, it's polished, it's perfect, it's fine. This 6 weeks is when it's all getting printed out in the discs and all that, and we're doing deals with the marketing. We've got a release date. We're now just building hype. Let's build the hype now, because if it works for films, put it this way: when did the trailer for
Cyberpunk had come out in E3 last year.
Oh no, like when did the trailer for I'm trying to think of, like, I don't really like Star Wars, but the trailer for The Force Awakens, right? That came out 3 months before the film came out. And yet The Force Awakens done very well at the box office. Like,
obviously.
Like,
Star Wars movie?
thing is, you can release trailers for stuff and not give a date. Like,
But you can't do that too many times, do you know what I mean? Like, you can only release two trailers, the third needs to have a date on it. Do you know what I mean? Before it becomes something like Crisis 3. Do you know what I mean? Half-Life 3. And
there's a Half-Life game coming out, it's just not Half-Life 3.
It's Half-Life Alyx. It's a VR game. Aye, that's coming out this year. That's not been delayed or that. Valve have said it's on track. A game might be ready, but a new idea could make it amazing. So it's another year. Movies are different because their actions need to go home. Their actors need to go home.
I just found something out that's
like the actors. Really weird. The actors of a game are the devs, aren't they? Fair enough, you get voice actors, but the devs need to go home at some time as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like game devs are just like actors.
I just found something out really weird from BBC News. Like, just came on my phone just now. So when I was working last night, about 10 o'clock, I drove through Holyrood Park on my way home. An hour later, a body was found.
Fuck's sake.
That's worrying.
Fucking Scotland, man. But I really think the game devs should be looking into unionising. I really think they should be looking into that. Like,
yeah, they should.
But I was reading an article this week, and it was talking about how there's only 54% of them actually think that workers should unionise. But see, at the same time, 54% is a fucking majority. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we found that out in 2014.
Yeah, exactly. But GDC surveys reports that 54% of developers think game workers should unionise, but most aren't sure it will happen. With game development crunch now being heavily criticised and several developers coming under fire for their labour practices, the topic of unions has been coming up more and more. The result of GDC's 2020 State of the Game Industry Survey indicates that the rising support for it too, with 54% of the nearly 4,000 respondents saying they believe that the game industry workers should unionise. 30% of developers said that they were uncertain, while 16% said they were against it. GDC only started asking the question last year when 47% indicated their support for it. Unfortunately, few are confident it will actually happen. Only 23% said they thought people would unionise, with 22% believing it wouldn't. More respondents just didn't know. While crunch and other subjects are being discussed more openly, an increasing number of developers are advertising themselves as crunch-free. The issue continues to be prevalent. Cyberpunk 2077 developers will be required to crunch, while Doom Eternal developers were crunching pretty hard throughout 2019. It's still treated as par for the course. The survey also found that almost half of the game developers work for more than 40 hours a week. 20% of respondents said they worked for 41 to 45 hours per week, and 12% said 40, 60, 50. More developers said they worked over 60 hours a week than 50 to 60 at 4%, while the same number also claimed they worked 86 to 90 hours in a single week. Holy fucking shit.
Alexa, how many hours are in a week?
It's 100.
1 week is 168 hours.
Aye, 168 hours, aye.
So
that's just giving you basically time to sleep if you're working a 90 hour week.
But hold on.
8 times 7, what's 8 times 7?
Don't put me on the spot.
You take 14 off of 70. Take 14 off of 70 is
56.
It's 56. So 56 hours is what you've got to sleep.
What?
And
Alexa,
that's 100 and
146.
146. That would take you 90 plus 56, 146. That leaves you 2 hours for free time. If you're working a 90 hour week. That's fucking ridiculous. That is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Elsewhere in the survey, developers seem to be a bit a bit hotter for VR than they were last year. AR is still dominating, with 32% of developers thinking it will be the thing to watch in the next 5 years. AR stands for augmented reality, but now a quarter reckon it will
Didn't
be
they
VR.
try that?
Augmented reality is a thing they've been doing a lot on phones and stuff like that. They do it a lot with card games and shit like that now. The new Oculus Quest seems to be the most popular headset, with the largest number of developers planning to release games on it. Lootbox popularity is thankfully dropping, with only 8% of developers saying they were working on games with lootbox mechanics. It's only a small decrease from last year. However, GDC added a new response to the business model of the survey this year. Taking into account games released on subscription services, 8% said they were working on a game that will launch on one of these services. On the subject of subscriptions, developers aren't quite sure what to make of them. 27% are concerned that Xbox Game Pass and Apple Arcade will devalue individual games. I actually share that opinion, while 26% aren't concerned. The biggest response was maybe. PC was the most popular platform, which it has been since GDC started the survey 8 years ago. 50% of developers said the PC was the platform they were most interested in, followed by PlayStation 5 at 38%, and Switch just below it. Didn't tell you the percentage, you're thinking maybe something like 38, 37, 36 or something, and only 25% of developers are interested in Xbox. Now that 25% of developers are interested in Xbox, that's
interesting.
That's quite damning for Xbox.
Speak of the devil, and he shall fucking appear. Hello.
That is fucking quite damning. Who appeared? Pigeon. Speak of the devil, we were talking about how we both want to like pure do a podcast for like lore stuff we love, and I was like, Viper, I can't do it with you. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'd be sitting here talking Destiny lore, and you'd be hitting Star Wars lore. I don't like Star Wars, you don't like Destiny. Do you know what I mean? Like, aye. But as a Destiny podcast is something. PC is Xbox though. No, it's no. It's fair enough. They're like trying to meet, into. They're almost there. But I am here to talk lore. We shall talk lore. Ready? Oh man!
But I like
it's go mental on Destiny lore right now.
That's really interesting. At the fact that.
Only 25% of devs are interested in Xbox. I know that was the one thing that really got me as well when I was reading that the first time.
I know it's it's failed this generation's console wars, right? Like it failed between the PS2 and the Xbox. In my opinion, it drew between Xbox 360 and PS3.
I'd say they were pretty even in the 360 era. I'd agree with that.
Because I think everyone can.
I would like to see numbers, but it feels like they were pretty even. Happening pop top cunt. Cunt.
Like since day one, in my opinion, PS4 has beat Xbox One.
Aye. PS4 has been knocking the shit out of Xbox One for at least 5 years. Do you know what I mean? PlayStation will win this one, and it looks as if they're going to win the next one with 54% of developers saying, 38% of developers saying they were interested in PlayStation. That's still pretty low. Do you know what I mean? But 25% of them only want to work on Xbox.
I think it's because PlayStation have consistently made good consoles.
PlayStation have always made good consoles, but remember PlayStation? Remember what Sony done in the PlayStation 3 era? For 18 months. No. For 18 months when they released the PlayStation, they released 3 models of PlayStation. They released the 80 gig model and the 40 gig model. Those two were your, let's call them standard models, right? They had the 2 USB ports and a disc drive, right? The disc drive was Blu-ray, right? And Sony made, for 18 months, they sold the Blu-ray drives at a loss in their PlayStations, right? But the 40 gig and the 80 gig model were making them profit. The 60 gig model is the one that came with all the tricks and whistles. The 60 gig model was the fucking cool model. It came with your mini disc player. It came with your memory card slots, 4 different memory card slots. It came with four USB slots, so you could have more USB stuff. It came with the 60 gig hard drive. It came with so much extra stuff. It could do so much more than the other PlayStations could. That one they sold at a loss for 18 months. And they sold it so as it could keep it in price range with the Xbox 360. So as if you were just going for backwards compatibility to PS, that's the one thing it had. The 60 gig model had backwards compatibility to PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1. The thing the 40 and the 80 didn't have. So see if you were buying a 60 gig model, you were buying like something close to a fucking PC. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever heard of the PlayStation 3 supercomputer that I can't remember what university
somebody made a shit ton of
it was
PS3s,
it was 60 gig models they used because they were so fucking powerful, man. Such good machines.
Do you remember when that whole fiasco happened when it was announced that Xbox One and then the PS and the PS4 were not backwards compatible? Do you remember the uproar that caused?
Yep.
Like, people were like, sorry, what?
It should have caused much more of an uproar because it was such a commercial decision because they started selling all the same games as downloadables onto PlayStation 4. Do you know what I mean? And like, you're sitting there like that. I've got all the games, they're sitting right there, but I can't play them. But I can just pull my 60 gig model and play a PlayStation 1 game. If
I wanted to play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 with my friends, I'd have to buy an Xbox One copy of it. I was like, no. Or they own the game, let me play it. Like,
aye.
It was...
Backwards compatibility, I think, should be a thing on all consoles, man.
And what PlayStation 4 done was basically...
all the PS3s play PS1 games, right. It was because of the emoticon chip. That's what must have been in the 60 gig model. It must have had the emoticon chip so as you could play PS2 games. Cheers for clearing that up, Philly boy.
I will say, right, one of the things that they're going to have to do with the new consoles is make them backwards compatible. Because if they don't, you've lost.
There's so many good games on the PlayStation 4 and that, aye.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's look at some of the things. I think one of the reasons that the PlayStation 4 this time was because of the exclusives. The exclusives that came out for fucking PlayStation 4 were insane. It's the only reason I bought a PlayStation 4 was for one of the... Like, I remember I saw the trailer for Horizon Zero Dawn and went...
Last of Us, get voted Game of the Decade, was fucking PlayStation exclusive.
But
the Uncharted series, PlayStation exclusives.
The only thing that Xbox has is Halo.
God of War, PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, like the PS4 won so hard. Like, was it? If I'm right, the only Xbox Forza
is one of those ones. It's for the petrol heads. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But PlayStation's always did Gran Turismo. Do you know what I mean? Gran Turismo's always been good.
It's Gears of War Xbox?
Gears of War's Xbox exclusive, aye.
Gears, Halo, Forza. But even then, look what happened when they released the Microsoft thing. Where did all their buys for Gears come from?
Probably my
PC.
favourite Xbox exclusive was Project Gotham Racing. Fucking
PGR was so good.
Project Gotham Racing was so good. So it was the perfectly timed fucking video game. Do you know, it was... See, it was... You went for... You had... what was the game? Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit. You had day games.
Such a good game.
You had day games, and then a year later, Need for Speed, the game that brought it was shit. And then PGR came out on Xbox, and I swear to God, mate, I went and bought a fucking Xbox, man. I was like, give me that Xbox. This game's fucking brilliant, because I'd been playing it at my mates and that. I was like, I need to play that at myself. I need. Do you know
one of the things that was just so sad was Need for Speed's fall.
Aye, Need for Speed's fall was really bad.
Like, I remember, one of the things I loved, when I first got into gaming.
But Need for Speed, that's what I say about perfectly timed games. Need for Speed came out right. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 1 came out right off the back of Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious comes out a couple of months later, and that game comes out. And everybody's like, yes, this is Fast and the Furious, the game. And then Hot Pursuit 2 came out, and it was even better. Fast and the Furious 2 had just come out, which was better than the original. And we were all just like, nah. And then Project Gotham was a wee bit different because it was about your skill as a racer, not about how you put your car together, which Hot Pursuit was about. And it was, they were just such perfectly timed racing games. Do you know what I mean? I think that's why racing games like that don't do so well anymore. They're all more like simulators now. Do you know what I mean? It's not about kitting out your motor on that anymore with body kits and big fucking flamboyant spoilers and all that. Because Fast and the Furious isn't really that popular anymore. It's just another action movie that has car chases in it. See how every action movie has that car chase? You get to about 50 minutes into a movie and all of a sudden they're in a car chase, or even if it's in the Middle Ages, they're getting chased on a horse or something. There's always the chase. Fast and Furious is chase movies. That's what they are.
Do you know why I think one of the reasons that Fast and Furious 1 and 2 and Need for Speed at the time was so popular? Because before that, if you were racing your modded cars, you were a boy racer and you were no very nice. All you done was drive up our insurance claims. But racing in those days, it was Formula One or it was supercars, right? You know, it was either your Formula One car or your Ferrari or your Lamborghini. Where these cars came out and went, here, do you know what car is also really fast? A modded Mitsubishi Evo and the Nissan GTR. A fucking Ford Focus with a turbo in it. Those are fast as fuck. And, like, not that, like, do you know what I generally think was one of the best, even though it was one of the weaker films of the Fast and Furious series? See when Tokyo Drift came out. Like, I'm sorry. You know for a fact there were so many 18-year-olds in their modded Vauxhall Corsas trying to drift around fucking, like...
Aye, don't get me wrong, when Tokyo Drift came out, it was a bit of a shite movie, but seeing the motors drifting and all that, man, the amount of times me and my mates would go up the back roads like at night time and we'd find like the fucking abandoned stretch of road and you'd just find the big corner, man. See the best thing, see if you're going to drift in your car, see the best thing to do is go out after midnight on a night during the week, go to a big empty car park on a night it's been snowing. Don't go above 15 miles an hour and just wee.
Traction control
it's
off.
Fucking brilliant. I remember I was at college one time. We're down the back of Fir Park, the Motherwell Football Club Stadium, right? Down the back, there's a big open space, big massive car park. Very early in the morning, we're just getting into college and I'm down there, man, and I'm going, there's a lamppost about 30 feet away from the fence, right? And I'm like, as long as I don't go above 15 mile an hour, and as long as I pull my handbrake up as I pass the lamppost and stop like giving it any acceleration and pull it out of gear, I won't hit the fence, right? And I can do as many spins as I can get in. It was fun. I had my motor full of cunts and we're in the motor like that, wee! And this other motor comes down, right? This wee Honda Civic comes down. And I'm like that to him, right mate, the rules of the car park to keep yourself safe, 15 mile an hour, handbrake before you go past, just as you pass the lamppost, right? We'd been doing it for about 15 minutes, completely safe. We'd been missing the fence with that. Do you know what I mean? Like, we did it perfect. And this guy's like that. It's about 30, fucking straight past the lamppost, about 10 feet past the lamppost, pulls the fucking handbrake up, goes through the big metal fence, and then fucking they end up in the fucking dressing rooms of Fir Park. Fucking was pure crumbling on about me and that. We're like, oh my god, mate, I told you, 15 mile an hour.
I think one of the best parts, one of the things I remember is, I think it was 2010 when the UK had a lot of fucking snowfall. And when I was there, like, my dad would take me to an ocean terminal because we wanted to go see a film or something. And there was a bit of an empty car park and it was covered in snow. And he was like, "Oh, that bit's quiet. We're going to park
It's
here."
an adult's playground, man. It's an adult's fucking playground.
I was sitting here, and he went, "You like those Fast and Furious films, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, just drove, then went, and I don't know why my brain went like, "I want to."
Oh man, I wish my wee brother was here. I need to get my wee brother on a podcast one time and I need to get him to tell you the story from his perspective. But my wee brother, he hadn't started his driving lessons yet, right? He was starting his driving lessons in a couple of weeks. And I had just got my car, like, MOT'd, and the guy says to me, like, that motor's not going to last. Let's get a couple of weeks more left in it. Just use the last year MOT and scrap the thing, right?
Aye.
So I fucking took the motor. It was middle of summer, so there wasn't any snow or anything, right? I took the motor up this this old abandoned ash park, and I was like to my mates, I'm fucking selling this motor to the scrappies. I'm getting 20 quid for it or something in a week's time, right? Let's kick the shite out this motor. Right? So we're up this fucking up this ash park, and I was just full steering lock to one side, right? Putting it in reverse, and then doing big massive wheel spins. And see when you're full steering, mate, it's as if you've got a rear wheel drive motor, and you're just drifting it, man. And I'm like that to my wee brother. You ever drove a motor before? You've done your lessons in a few weeks, haven't you? He's like, aye. And I was like, right, cool. Well, I'll show you how to do donuts. And he's fucking put him in the driver's seat, man. And honestly, mate, see when he done it the first time, man, the motor was just going like that, and he's pure shitting himself. And I'm like, if you're shitting yourself, take your foot off the accelerator, you fucking twat. He's just good running a big circle, man. Oh my god, I had to sell the motor the very next day because fucking we had to push it home because fucking both of the drive shafts had fucking snapped, man. Like, holy fuck. I remember doing it the last time. I jumped back in the seat and I was like, right, let's go. Let's see if I can get full revs and go, right? And I swear to God, man, give it full revs. And see when I lift it, I just launched the clutch up, like just woof, and the motor just goes woof. And it was the fucking two drive shafts that just snapped with the torque. Like, holy shit, we're pushing the motor home, man. But aye, that was the first time my wee brother ever drove doing donuts like a madman up on Ash Park. And it's all because fucking those Fast and Furious movies, man. I was one of those Daft Boy racers. I didn't have a good motor.
Those Fast and Furious films probably I'm pretty sure the second that film was released, our insurance claims went higher.
Aye.
But, like,
You gonna fuck off? You're annoying me.
It was pretty fun, like. But yeah, it's sad to see us the Need for Speed fault. But yeah, like Xbox they're gonna have to up the game for the new one. Like, they're gonna have to do something.
I don't think they can up their game at this point because
you know what I think?
They've only got a quarter of the developers wanting to work for them.
Yeah, do you know what I genuinely think Microsoft should do? Just scrap the console and focus on PC.
Focus on PC. I mean, aye.
Because right now,
aye,
it's very clear, right? If you've got the money and you've got the internet, you get a PC. If you have the money, no question, you get a PC. Right?
I mean, people have been talking. There's been whispers of it for a few years as well. Like, should Sony and Xbox not just make a console together so as we get best of both worlds and all that? And the answer to that is that's never going to work because of the stunt Sony pulled on Nintendo in the early 90s. Sony and Nintendo made a disc console. It was basically a PlayStation that used Nintendo controllers, and Sony basically just fucked them over for it and were like, alright, cool, that's ours, that's a PlayStation 1. And they released the PlayStation 1, and that's how nobody will ever do a joint console again, because of what Sony done in the 90s. We got, but no, we'll keep our own stuff, man. We're not going to give your intellectual property.
It's got to the point now where, like, companies now know what they're good at, and they should just, like, not they should just stick to it, they should continue innovating, right? But it's the same as, like, no one kind of goes in that field. Like, if you got the money and you want a good home PC, like a home game system, you get a PC. If you want something, you can sit in your bed and play some cool games and watch Netflix, you buy a PS4, right? And play with your mates. You maybe don't have the money for a PC, but if you want a console, you get a PS4. If you're on the move and you want the games you can play on the train and everything, you get a Switch. Like, it's like, that's what you get.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it is. Sure, it would have been really cool if one company overtook them all. But now we've got these three companies that do things very well. For example, like Microsoft, they've got their new game system that you can, the Ultimate Pass, right? I'm pretty sure if you I got shown this couple. If I get the PC version, so
it also might be like, because Microsoft are so split. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've got their whole company split right down the middle. Do you know what I mean? Maybe not right down the middle. Maybe 75-25. They've got a big part of their company working on PCs, and then they've got a big part of their company working on, do you know what I mean? Like, consoles.
Yeah.
Where obviously they get stuff working, movies and stuff like that, right? Every fucking big company has, right? But Sony, they've got one digital digital entertainment system, and that's their current console. They've only got one thing to put it into in that market. Sony have got their big films and all that, but it's a completely different part. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Microsoft, I've got two things in the computer world, and people are like, if I want to get Microsoft, I'm getting a PC. Do you know what I mean? Because PCs are just so much better than a console. So why would you, if you want to play, especially with Xbox Game Pass being on PCs now, they've kind of shot themselves in the foot with that. Do you know what I mean? Any game we bring out for Xbox, you can play on your PC. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, I just looked at it, right? For the Xbox Game Pass for PC, it says beta, so it might change. You get your first 3 months for £1.
And then you cancel it.
3 months for £1. No, but then it's $11.99 quarterly. So what? $4.99 a month. So for the same price as a Netflix subscription, you basically get Netflix for games.
But it's only Xbox games, that's the thing, and like.
But even not even that. Like, hold on, I'll tell you some of the games that are right. So PC games.
I really don't like the subscription nature of gaming. I remember in that article it says it was something like 30% of game developers think that the subscription service is devaluing individual games. That's how I feel. I really feel like it's devaluing an individual game. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but like in terms of like games that we want, like for example, like Halo is on that. Sea of Thieves, Gears 5. Like Sea of Thieves should have came out on PC. Like it should have just came out on PC as well. The Outer Worlds is apparently amazing. Like Forza. Here, I know it's stupid, Minecraft, but you can buy Minecraft either way. The fact as well that, you know, Microsoft own Mixer.
I know.
Like it. Like, you know, it's.
They just want to be the biggest at everything. That's the thing. They should just focus on something.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Let's be real. Like, I genuinely think they should just ditch the Xbox. It had its time. The Xbox 360 was a fucking fantastic controller.
One thing human beings don't like today is admit defeat.
But they've
just don't like,
lost,
especially people that run big companies. Do you know what I mean? These fucking borderline sociopaths at the top of fucking companies, man. They're not going to admit that they lost. They're going to keep doing what they're doing until they win. And if they never win, they're going to just keep telling themselves, just keep doing it until you win. That's the sort of mindset you're up against a CEO of companies like this. They're never going to win it. Do you know what I mean? That's why you've got Google Stadia doing so bad as it is, and they're still trying to push it.
I still love the fact that I get the adverts. Absolutely no latency. That's a lie.
Do you know what I mean? Like, Google's got so much money they can throw at it. They can throw money into that black hole until it's successful. And that's what they're going to do. And they're going to try and convince themselves that the money's going to get spat back out the other side when it is successful. And they're just going to keep bashing their head off that wall because they've got the money to do so.
In terms of what that report said as well about, VR and AR.
Aye, that game developers are putting more stock into AR than they are VR.
I don't know, like... I think VR has the potential to be the next big gaming thing. The only problem is I don't think it's the titles. The titles are there.
Well,
it's more literally it's the price. It is the price.
It's one of those things, right? See, if you want to go for the good VRs, like PSVR is good, right? It's good, but it's no
PSVR is fantastic.
It's no one of the good VRs in my book because it's designed for you to be sitting down. When people think VR, they think, oh, I get to move about and I'm fucking, do you know what I mean, completely free. Whereas on the PlayStation, even when you're playing Farpoint, the one with the gun, you're supposed to be sitting on your couch, right? Whereas if you want to get one of the good VRs like the Vive or the Oculus, you need a full room set up. For the Vive, you need something up there, and you need a good bit of space. The amount of people that don't have a free room for that.
Yeah. Do you know what I think? Do you know when I think VR will actually take off? And I know this is more like a very niche if this happens. See if 360 treadmills become affordable and become integrated with, like, do you know that film Ready Player One? Where he puts on his goggles, he turns on his treadmill, right? That is when VR games will take off.
But who's going to have that spare room? Very little people's going to have that spare room for that treadmill. Who's going to be able to afford that treadmill? Treadmills are fucking expensive. Do you know what I mean? It's like, VR's one of those things that there should be VR cafes. Do you know
There
what
was one in Edinburgh, but they charged it was like £15 for half an hour.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Like, they charged way too much. And I understand there needs to be upkeep and everything, right? But £15 for half an hour? No.
15 quid for 2 hours? Maybe. Do you know what I mean? Like,
You know what I think it was? I think they expected it to be a lot more busy than it was. They thought they had to, like, half-hour time slots. But...
like, in my opinion, I went to this youth club when I was young, right? And I'm talking, it was a summer holidays youth club. It was in a place called the Terminal 1. And the Terminal 1 was government funded, right? They had a wee cafe that opened up for a few hours at lunchtime in the back. And they had two computer rooms. They had a pool room, a gym. It was for people of all different ages, right? But we went to the wee youth club, the Terminal 1 youth club, and they opened up the 2 computer rooms, which had your PlayStation 2s, your Nintendos, all your old consoles, you're up to date, brand new games. If a game came out, they bought it after government fucking money, and they would buy 2 or 3 games. So do you know what I mean? And see, every morning we used to go down there. My mum used to drop us off, me and my brother, at 9 o'clock before she started her work at 10, right? And we used to go in, sign ourselves in at reception, give the guy the £1.50, and that was, you had access to that place for the full day. Now, you had to still you still had to buy your lunch, but your lunch was heavy cheap because it was subsidised as well, right? But like, there should be more places like that. And I imagine I've not been back to the Terminal 1. I've not kept that.
See the fact that things like that got cut in the first place. I do not understand it. Like, I had some.
It's way better than daycare. It's way better than daycare. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Plus, it also gives young people something.
You've got a couple of people working there. The people that are there are qualified youth workers. But their main objective is to leave you the fuck alone unless you need them. If you need them, something happens, you go out and talk to them, and you've got an adult when you need an adult.
Like the thing is, like, there was something like that when I grew up. Like, I used to live in a place called Danderhall, and it wasn't like the roughest area, but it wasn't like the best area. And they had like a youth club for people, and sure, it was Christian run and it was funded by the church, but we all knew all we need to do is sit through 20 minutes of preaching. And then we got to do what the fuck we want.
Oh, there was none of that at your youth club. There was none of that at your youth club. But the youth
Yours was
club,
government, when mine was church run.
See, when we were growing up, there was so many things. It was before they started taking away public parks and all that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember, like, see, when the council came and took away an igloo, a climbing frame, and a set of swings. And I remember when the council was, I was like, why are you taking that away? I was 17 or something at the time. Oh, because we need the money. We're going to take it to the scrappies. And I'm like, I've been to the scrappies with my granddad and that. Mate, you'll get like 40 quid for that. Are you fucking kidding on? Do you know what I mean? It's like, but see that youth club I was talking about when I was young, the youth clubs really stopped doing things when I was like maybe 19, 20. But when I was young, they had the Digibus, and what the Digibus was it was a big fucking white van with said Digibus Terminal 1 on the side there, and it would
didn't say Predator on the other side.
No, it didn't say Predator, and it wasn't black. Right, it said Digibus on the side there, and it was the same thing. The couple of guys for the Terminal 1, the couple of youth workers, they would go about and they'd sit in a car park for 4 hours each night, and they'd come to like different places all around about, like Blantyre, Hill House, Edelwood, places like that, like, where they had kids that were running about as Neds, getting drunk on a Friday night, and it was there to combat that. Do you know what I mean? Like, they would appear at the place, at the car park where all the wee Neds would be fucking trying to buy their, sitting in the corner at the shop, you get in by me, and the Digibus would show up and they'd be like, ah, boys, for 2 quid, you can jump on the Digibus, there's a couch in the back, there's all these seats, there's 4 PlayStations. Do you know what I mean? Each PlayStation is a multi-tap. You can play 2v2 against each other for FIFA until 10 o'clock. And then by 10 o'clock, that's usually when the Moz were coming looking for them and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And these kids would be going home and they'd have been out of trouble the full night. Do you know what I mean? And they expanded their Digibus their fleet. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't coming to your place once a fortnight. No, it was coming to your place every Friday night, and that became the Friday night for us because see, growing up in Blantyre is the bunch of kids who didn't really like drinking and didn't really like the whole gang culture. Like we hung about Bunbury Park played football in Burnbrae Park, and the guys who hung about down the Shah, played football down the Shah, they were the Shah butchers, and the cunts were the young high tire, and they were like, what do you call yourself? And we're like, we don't call ourselves fucking Inti, we don't want anything to do with your bullshit. We just want to play football and have a laugh. And see, when the digibus started coming about, it gave us an out, because see, on a Friday, these cunts would be cutting about with their bottles of wine, one of them with a knife on them and all that, try to be fucking fannies. And see, when you're at the digibus, for 6 to 10, with 2 youth workers that they know phone the police on them, you were safe.
They want to come
You
to
were
you.
safe on a Friday night. And see, that, for me, growing up, was a massive lifeline. I mean, like, I done karate and all that, I could fight, but it wasn't that I would win a fight, but it wasn't the fact that you could win a fight one-on-one. See, if you won a fight one-on-one where I grew up, you guaranteed you're getting jumped in school. Do you know what I mean? With 10 of them. So it's like, see that out, it stopped all the bullshit, it stopped. Like, the reason that I got bullied was because I could batter people, because I could single somebody out when I seen him. Oh, there he's there walking to school. Here, you prick. You and your mates bullied me. Bam, bam, bam. I'd batter them and I'd get jumped on. And see that digibus, it stopped all that, because I would stop having the encounters. Do you know what I mean? It would, when they began into school on Friday, here you done this on Friday night. I was only trying to defend myself, you started it. Do you know what I mean? So, like, there's that element to it as well for the youths. Do you know what I mean? Like, those digibuses were a fucking godsend.
Well, it's proven, like, it's proven that if you give young people something to do, gang culture goes down, violence in young people goes down, because their energy goes somewhere else. If you don't give anything for young people to do, what they're going to do? They're just going to start destroying stuff. There's nothing else to do.
One of the fun things to do when you were at a youth club was take the piss out your youth workers. And you used to have a really good, like, rapport with the youth workers. Do you know what I mean? After you've been there a few weeks, they're used to you and you're used to them, and you have a laugh with them. Do you know what I mean? They become like a role model, almost like an elder brother or an elder sister.
2 seconds. Let me go close. We're going to go close the door for 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Aye, like these digibuses and these youth projects, man. Like, the government needs to start funding these again, because these were brilliant when I was growing up. Do you know what I mean? The digibus, and with this other youth club, and the other youth club set a football team up when we were 17, 18, so we had stuff to do when we were getting older, and we didn't want to sit at the youth club anymore because we thought it was childish. Do you know what I mean? They were like, right, okay, we'll find somebody that'll run a football team for you. We've entered you into the Cumbernauld and Kilsyth League. I was captain of that team for 2 years. We came in third in the league in our second year. We done really well. Do you know what I mean? Made it to the semi-finals of the cup. These things need to start happening again, man.
If you allow me to go deep for a second.
Go on, you go. I've been going deep for turn.
Like, if it wasn't for people who are like youth work and people who actually sit there and listen to young people and give them something to do, I don't think I would have taken my grand's death nearly as, for lack of a better term, well as I did.
But because you had somebody that was willing to talk to you about it
and explain what was going on. And of course, but you know, I think if it wasn't for people like that and stuff for me to do, who knows what I would have done. Aye.
It's like, when you're young and you don't have any outlet, usually you'll turn to bad role models. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'll fall in with the wrong crowd. That's usually what happens. You'll start taking a drug, or you'll start smoking.
It's because the only people that are there are the bad role models. So if you start implementing good role models, then there you go.
Aye, exactly.
Like if you give someone, here, something bad's going on in my life, if I go down to this place on a Friday night and go to a social worker and I speak to them about it, I'll get the advice and possible help that I need. However, if you're not there, I know Dodgy Davy around the corner is always going to be.
Aye.
I don't know why it was Davy. Like, I don't know why I singled out Davy. Sorry, Davy.
But like, there's this guy after the Digibus era, and then when we get a wee bit older, when you're talking 15, 16 now, the youth club put a youth club much closer to where we hung about, and it was the same deal, 50 quid, and the youth club ran from 7 to 10 o'clock 3 nights a week.
Did you say 50 quid? Was that like more like a pay for a month or something?
50 pence, I meant 50 pence
50
a night.
pence, aye.
You paid 50 pence at the door. And they had a pool table, they had a couple of computers, they had microwave and a wee cooker and that, and the youth workers would make you something to eat. If you went to the shop and bought like a bag of fucking frozen chips, they would throw it in the chip pan. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I always remember Big Ricky. Big English guy, big guy from Liverpool, man. Fucking such a genuine cunt. He wasn't one of those youth workers that was... This is how I say you do it. He was one of these youth workers that understood that he has to make sacrifices in order to get the kids' respect, and with the kids' respect, then you can start to make progress. Do you know what I mean? So like, see when you turn up at the youth club on a Friday night, and we were 16, 17, and my mates get 6 cans, and Ricky would be like, "Who are they cans for?" And Scott would be like, "Well, for me," and he'd be like, "Ah, you're allowed 2 of them. Give me your cans, I'll put them in the fridge, and you can have 2 next week and 2 the week after." And Scott would be no steaming, but still controllable by Ricky, because he had the big man, because Ricky had Scott's respect now. Do you know what I mean? So Scott liked a drink. So Scott would go to the youth club and he'd get a wee drink and he was allowed. And do you know what I mean? Like, everything was done in mediocrity. Ricky was like, these boys are gonna, if I tell them no, and I try to take it off them, they're gonna go mental, it's gonna get ripped out my horns, and they're gonna go get pushed up the park. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of role model was crucial where I grew up.
Do you know what I think it is as well? I'm not making this a generalisation, but you can probably assume that a couple of these kids don't have that kind of parental figure at home.
Yep. Yep. Aye, I don't want to tell you Scott's background, but aye, yes.
Yeah, like, you know, like you can assume that a couple of these kids don't have a parental figure at home. So these places are... How the fuck did talking about Xbox and Sony go to this? Because
it was my youth club. Do you know what I mean? Them
but it was,
having
it was
these
just a thought of, like,
available for us.
Yeah, but it was like... It is genuinely sad that half of these things get cut now. Like... And it shouldn't.
Aye. Like, loot boxes would be so much less effective if there was a youth worker going, that's a loot box. Do you know what I mean? Explain what the loot box is and how they shouldn't be doing it. Do you know what I mean? It's like... But aye. The loot box, talking about loot boxes as well, the NHS Director of Mental Health came out this week saying that loot boxes should be abolished for children.
Because they're gambling.
Aye.
Because they're gambling.
It's just another bit in the loot box saga, that's all.
Like, card pack, like, it's so weird, again, because I've been on both sides of this. You know, as someone who likes the surprise element for, like, collectible stuff, but that's physical stuff, that's card games, that's, you know, figurine collecting, right?
Aye, but you're also of legal gambling age.
Yeah, I am, yeah. But even when I was, like, you know, growing up, you know, I was like, oh, I'd love... There was a thing called Go-Go's when I was a kid, right? And there were literally these little mini figures of, like, little weird characters. You collected them, you could play games with them, right? Different types of games. Kind of like, I don't know, did you have Pogs? Or that
yeah, I had Pogs, mate. I had Pogs. I was a fucking champ at Pogs, man. I got every cunt's Pogs. I had all the shinies. I was the best Pogger in my school.
Well, there you go, like, you had Pogs, I had Go-Go's, right? And it was okay because...
Who else remembers Pogs in chat? Come on.
You bought a pack of 5, right? I think it was £2.50 a pack, right? And even with those 5, it's not like, you know, this one had different stats or this one was different stats to this one. What you got is if you bought, basically, to get into it, you bought the starter pack, which was a magazine. Like, do you remember the Panini sticker magazines? Mm-hmm. It was one of those, and that was a book on all the ones you got. And you got a pack, and in every pack you bought, you got 5 Go-Go's and 3 stickers. Right? And after you got that, you could play a game with 5. Like, you bought 1 pack, that was it. You know, you could play a game with that. And I think it was because of there wasn't, like, you know, one was worth more. Like, you had 5, what they called them, mutations, right? And it was basically the same five of the Googles of that series had different paint jobs. That was it, just 5 of them, right? And sure, they were worth a bit more than the rest, right? But apart from that, it was fine. Nowadays, and this is one of the things that I do not understand. There are
Turned into a
kids,
dog and cat stream. I know, team dog and team cat. Right, take your bone and fuck off.
it's turned into, right? Like, I've heard stories of kids getting bullied at school because they do not have a certain skin in Fortnite. Like, the fuck is that about?
That's always going to happen. Mate, that's always going to
Well,
happen.
it's always going to happen.
It's
but
always going to happen.
it's-
Think of the kid that turned up in school with 2 straight trainers. How much a hard time did that cunt get? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's always going to happen. Do you know what I mean? It's just a new thing. It's just a new thing. It's the cool thing. And if you don't have the coolest of the cool, kids are gonna get on you. It's just what kids do. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think that one's all that powerful, because kids are just going to be kids. They'll find it anything. They will find it anything. But
It is, but like, especially in terms of boxes, like, it is. I think it's because it's digital, and parents just didn't care anymore that they'll just give their kids, like,
mate, let's not get started on that whole side of the debate because I will piss so many people off. They're like, you don't have kids, trust. You don't get to talk about shit like that. Like, because I don't have kids doesn't mean I've not got eyes or a heart. Do you know what I mean? Like, holy fuck, man. Oh, here's a mobile phone. Go at my face. Fuck off. Hate that shit. So many people do it. So many fucking people do it. My brothers fucking do it. That annoys me. Do you know what I mean? Like, God's sake, man, fucking raise your kids. Don't let fucking some cunt on the internet raise your kids. See the amount of time I've got to tell my nieces and nephews, like, see these YouTube channels you're watching, like, you do realise that they're not real. Aye, like, see these kids, these other kids that you're watching, and they're doing all these daft things, and they've got all this cool stuff, and Macy's like, oh, I want to do that, and you're like, Macy, that they are completely spoiled. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're like, come on to fuck, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just annoys me so much how vacant it's TikTok. See parents that let their kids on fucking TikTok. Oh my god, see the amount of fucking, I had to pull that off my nieces and nephews so many times, man. I pulled my niece's phone off and threw it in the bin. She got it for Christmas and I fucking threw it in the bin. I was like, you can get it fucking back later if you want to go through the bin for it, but remember, if you go through the bin for it, if I catch you on TikTok again, you'll be going through the bin every single fucking time I do it, every time I catch you. And
what's your problem with TikTok?
It's just how mindless people are. People are just putting these wee daft things on TikTok, and the Waynes are just flicking through it. Do you know what I mean? And they're watching, no understanding what they're watching, flicking through. It could be anything. Do you know what I mean? That's my problem with it. It's just you're getting people's random fucking thoughts and just random shit, man. And you're like, it's unfiltered content being just, kids shouldn't be allowed to be just get unfiltered content for some random cunt for fucking Birmingham. Do you know what I mean? Like, no. Everything we should be giving our kids should be vetted. That's why children's TV shows are a fucking thing. Like, they can get boring once you're like 7 and 8 and stuff like that. That's why you've got cartoons. That's why you've got other things. That's why do you know what I mean? That's things like Scooby-Doo and all those types of shows were invented. Do you know what I mean? You get fucking TikTok, man. These fucking unfiltered apps. Gonna fuck off. These unfiltered apps, man. I really don't like it. I really don't like it. Do you know what I mean?
I use TikTok just because it's a meme station, and most of the things that I watch on it are D&D related.
But you're over 20 years old, and you know when something's bad when you're watching it. You know how to filter it yourself. Kids just absorb information, and half the time they're not even watching it. Half the time they're just flicking through it, and their brain's just absorbing shit, and they don't even know what they're absorbing. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's why I don't like TikTok. It's not because of any specific one that I've seen. It's just I don't like children having access to unfiltered content. Do you know what I mean? Why did YouTube make YouTube Kids? To filter content to kids. Do you know what I mean? So as we don't end up with wee fucking psychopaths running about. Do you know what I mean? Like, holy shit, man. But one of the biggest things that annoys me is the sexualized content. Do you know what I mean? Like people going on and like saying it's either good to be.
It's such a pretty web.
Like
It's such a pretty website.
giving you reasons why you should be straight, giving you reasons why you should be gay, do you know what I mean? Like these things are for you to decide on your own with your own. Do you know what I mean? And it shouldn't.
I think me and you've seen two different sides of TikTok.
My 7-year-old niece shouldn't be getting this content. Do you know what I mean? Like, I really don't. I don't agree with it. Do you know what I mean? Because she doesn't even know what that side of human nature is yet, and yet that's sometimes what people put on these things. Do you know what I mean? Like, and your brains are just sitting there, soaking it up. I really don't like it. I really don't like TikTok, and it's the parents. It's the fucking parents. They're like, I just want 10 minutes to my fucking self. Do you know what I mean? And they don't care about what their kids are actually having to access. Fuck, when I was growing up, man, my mum and dad fucking vetted everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, parental guidance on it. I just wasn't allowed it. Do you know what I mean? Like, holy shit.
I think the most violent game I had growing up was Lego Star Wars.
And I was growing up.
Oh, actually, to be fair, Star Wars Battlefront 2. But it's because my granddad bought me that. And it's because anything that my granddad bought me, my parents are just automatically trusted.
Mate, I remember when I was 9 years old, man, and I seen Resident Evil 2 for the first time. And I was shaking myself for fucking like 2 years, got in my bed. Zombies are coming for me.
I think it was... Because obviously my granddad introduced me to stuff like Star Wars and basically introduced me to sci-fi and fantasy and stuff. Like, I remember... I don't know if I've said this story in the podcast before, basically how I found out about Star Wars.
No. Maybe
what it was, right?
I remember you telling me, but I don't know if it was on the podcast or no.
I'll say it just in case. Is that I went to Asda with my granddad, and Asda always had that area where all the TVs were and stuff. And, you know, Asda always puts movies on to, like, you know, show, oh, look how good this TV is, look how good the sound is, right? And I remember just walking through, he was like, he used to just like, okay, cool, I'll come meet you here in 20 minutes. Here's, he used to have two phones, one his work phone and his personal phone. He used to give me his personal phone and go, I'll call you when I'm finished and I'll come get you. It's like, cool, I won't move from this spot. If I'm not here, I went to the toilet, right? You know, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was one time I was just looking through TVs and Star Wars A New Hope was on. And I remember sitting there, like, I usually used to watch for like 20 minutes and then call my gran and go, where are you? I'm going to come find you, right? But this time, I sat there and he was away for about an hour. And I just sat there just watching, like, the fuck is this? And then he just came over and was like, you never seen this before? I was like, no. Do you like it? Yeah. And he went, all right, cool. Tell you what, go. He went, because you've been so good and sat here all the time, go down to the front and get yourself a magazine. You know, because kids' magazines those days, you know, toys. I was like, yes. Picked up, you know, I think it was I don't know, whatever magazine was popular at the time. Went and when you've done that, he went and bought the films that were out for Star Wars at the time, which I believe was...
I went and bought you them all, so you just went ham and were like, there's loads of this.
This was just before Revenge of the Sith. This was just before Revenge of the Sith came out. So he bought me... Oh no, I think this was just after Revenge of the Sith came out. So yeah, he bought me all 6 films. And I remember when I got home, he went, I got a present for you. He went, that was the movie you were watching earlier, but they've got more of them. And he's just... You know, we sat there and I watched The Phantom Menace. I remember me and him watched all these Star Wars films in a weekend. And I was like, that's amazing. Like, I love it. I to this day, I can remember, like, because, like, I remember when Anakin fucking turned into Darth Vader for the first time. And I remember my brain going, my favourite character is now the bad guy. What? And then, you know, we watch episodes like, this is 30 years later. That's Luke, he's all grown up. You know.
Aye, because by that time there would have been fucking aye. There's quite a lot of the Star Wars, like you say, 6 movies, man. So it covers quite a big space. Spans of time.
And then I remember, I think it was one of my birthdays, he bought me the animated Clone Wars. And I was like, more Star Wars. And then for my birthdays, he'd buy me the Lego Star Wars game, like all the Star Wars games. And then he introduced me to Lord of the Rings and, you know, all that. And he introduced me to Stargate, Star Trek, you know, Only thing he never introduced me to was Firefly, but I don't think he watched Firefly.
Firefly was, it's pure, I don't know, Firefly was extremely mediocre. Like, extremely mediocre in my opinion. I don't know why people loved it so much. But it's one of those cult things. Isn't it? Nathan Fillion. People like that guy for some reason, I don't know.
I was about to say, isn't that the guy from Uncharted, Ben?
No, but he did do an Uncharted thing where he was the character, he was the main guy. It was like a fan-made Uncharted tiny movie, like for a... It was like a teaser. I can't remember what it was for, but he's definitely in that as Nathan Drake. That's why you're thinking of that. That's why you're thinking Nathan Fillion as Nathan Drake. But aye, it's 20 past, so that's all the time we've got for the night. I didn't realise we'd already passed 10 o'clock.
Yeah. We passed 10 o'clock when we started talking about social workers.
Oh, did we? That was quite a while ago.
There's the thing, you know what? I'm going to say it right now, and I'm going to make this. 2020 will be the year of Indie Thoughts.
Aye,
me and Trust have been talking about it for so long, and it's got to the point where we've just sprouting shite on this.
Sprouting shite, rather than getting away for our gaming news and all that on the podcast.
We'll pre-record it and we'll post it on YouTube, and you can watch Indie Thoughts.
See, what I would like to do with Indie Thoughts is the idea that we could do vlogs to each other. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could put a vlog on COD8MYdog's channel, and then you put a vlog on your channel, but it's I address my vlog to you, and you address your vlog to me, and I'll like tell you something I want to talk about, and I'll talk about it, and then you watch my video, and then you send it back to me. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, it'll be good because we'll be talking to each other, but it's also like we're talking to the viewer. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that'll be a good idea for Indie Thoughts, and we could maybe get a few people. Do you know what I mean? And talk about a certain subject. I don't know. There's quite a few ideas I would like to do for Indie Thoughts. We need to get on it. You're right. It's been on the back burner for so long. But yes, thank you for watching tonight, folks. Are we going to play Jackbox? I don't think we're going to play Jackbox.
I'm going to go. Late. I'll go live. I'll go live on DMviper, and I might do a bit of Jedi Fallen Order. Cool.
Right, so DMviper, you know how we get to it. Just twitch.tv/DMviper. Simple as that.
Well, it's Dungeon Master Viper. The full name is Dungeon Master Viper.
There you go. Full name Dungeon Master Viper. I've not got it in the chat for the links in chat. I'll need to update that. But yes, he's going live in a couple of minutes. Thank you for watching. Cheers for joining us, Viper, my co-host and friend. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you all later. Good night.
Bye.
We'll build this network on Scots with soul. We'll build this network Scots and soul.
You know, I farted halfway through that.
Build this network on Scots with soul. Nice. GG.